In this video, I'm going to show you how to install Sureforms Pro in a WordPress website, how to create your first form, and how to set up a Google Analytics tracking for when somebody submits your Sureform via an event. Let's start off by logging into Sureforms. In this case, I'm already logged in. You would go to dashboard and then downloads. And then under downloads, you are going to find your download here. You're going to click download. Then you're going to go to your WordPress website. You're going to find plugins. You're going to add a new plugin. And say upload plugin. Choose a file. See your downloads. We find Sureforms here. Install now. Activate your plugin. And then you'll get this error because you need to install Sureforms, the free version as well, which is super easy. You just click install Sureforms, activate your plugin, and then where it says unlicense, you would click on it, and then you would go back to Sureforms, and then you would press your license key. In this case, you would just copy, come back to your site, paste that license there, activate the license. Now that it's activated, you can create your first form. So you go to Forms, add a new form. In this case, I'm just going to build it from scratch. Here you get the backend. You can name your form whatever you'd like. In this case, I'm just going to say main form. You can have some features here like text, email, URL, text area. You can browse out all, and then you would have a lot more features. In this case, I'm going to do a text because I want a first name. I would just name this first name. Now I want to collect the last name. You can drag it here. You say last name. To me, I think forms look nicer when they're next to each other. So I'll say 50%. Say 50% here, and it'll put those side by side. Now I want to collect an email. And then I would like to collect a phone number. And then on the right-hand side, you have a variety of options. So you have it in your General tab and the Advanced tab. Let's start with the General tab. For first name, say this was a field that collects like phone numbers or dates, then you could select them here. In this case, it's none of those. I do want to make it required. So I do just hit required. For last name, I also want to make it required. For email, I would want to do required as well. And then if you don't want the same email to be submitting this form over and over, you could always say validate as unique. And this would look for an email that's already submitted. If it is or submitted, it won't let you submit another one. In this case, because it's my main form, usually I would leave this off because usually this would be a contact us form or request a quote, something like that. And then your phone number, in this case, it defaults to United States. Again, I make it required, and then you can, again, validate it as unique. I usually just leave this off. For the advanced section, say you wanted to enable conditional logic. This is if this, do this or that. So you could either show or hide the form based on a variety of conditions. So if first name is and then value Victor, then this form can show up or not show up, etc. So you can set your rules if you wanted to do that, but usually you don't have to. And that's it. You could change your submit button and call it like request a quote. And then you could also change the color if you would like on the back end. In this case, I just want it black and white. And then you could do field spacing as well. So if you want large form or you want a small form, I usually like compact forms. So I always select small. And then for my submit button alignment, you can align left, center, right, or you can do a full one. I like the more kind of modern approach, so I always do the full width. And then you usually won't see these options. It's just I have light speed as my cache. In your instance, unless you do have it, you won't see this option on your end. And then here, if you wanted to add some sort of security, like a Google reCAPTCHA, a Cloudflare, or an HCAPTCHA, because this is a new website, I don't have the license set up, so I'm not going to show you that, but I can do another tutorial for another video if you would like to see that. So now we go back to the general tab on this far right, and you have several options here. So if you wanted to put the placeholders to be inside, like first name, last name, email, phone number inside of the boxes, you would just enable this toggle. You won't see it on the back end, but on the front end, once you save it, those changes would be reflected. Here is also where you select your form confirmation. So when somebody submits a form, what do you want it to say? So we've received your email. If you wanted to personalize it, you could say thank you and then add a shortcut, and then it'll mention their first name. So it'll be like, thank you, Victor. We have received your email. You'll hear from us as soon as possible. Please make sure to whitelist. And then here, I like to change from admin email to just whatever your email is going to be, like email at business.com. And then email address to ensure our replies reach your inbox. Obviously, email at business, just make sure it's like your email, right? The other option you have is to actually redirect this form. So say you had a thank you page built out, you could just select that there. For tracking purposes, I'm going to show you how to track event-based, so they will see this message. Email notification is, okay, who do you want to be notified? And then you would just say, my email.com, or actually it would be like my email at gmail.com, something like that. And then you can name the form. So if you had labels and placeholders and stuff like that in your Gmail inbox, you could change that here, right? So in this case, it would just grab the form title, which I named main form, but it'll just grab whatever is your title. And then here it'll grab all the fields that were submitted, but you could actually add a lot more fields if you wanted to. So for example, cookie value or a parameter, if you were collecting that. I'll do another tutorial on how to grab those, as it's a little bit more advanced. But you could also get, your source, medium, etc. for tracking purposes on your backend. And then user ID, user first name, etc. You can pass all that data to yourself. And then if you wanted to add CC or BCC somebody, you could add them here. And then reply to this. Usually I select the email to make it easy for me to reply to somebody. So form input tag, I would just hit email. And this will grab the email of the person that submitted the form so that I can reply on my backend. And then this automatically saves everything for you. So you can just go back. Compliance settings. So if you need to enable GDPR compliance, where it won't store IP, browser name, device name, etc., you can just toggle this. And then again, you can just do, whatever your regulations are. In this case, I'll just leave it off. And then if you did have integrations with webhooks or short triggers, you can enable that if you want to pass your form data into a variety of other tools. And if you're advanced, you could also add some custom CSS if you wanted to make your form a certain style, right? Or more rounded, or a cool background, shade, stuff like that. And then I just hit publish. If you do want to enable an instant form, you would hit this. And so in this case, I can do enable instant form. And then you could include a site logo. In this case, I can just go to my media library and select whatever this logo is. And then I could also do like enable preview if I want to see how my instant form would look like. Say I wanted to change the background color and I wanted to change it to that, or black, whatever you want. You can do that here. And then you can change the form width as well, right? So usually 600 is decent size. And then you can also use a banner as a background if you wanted. So in this case, it could be an image, it could be a color. So if I wanted to upload an image, say I wanted that one, then it could upload an image to the back of my form. In this case, you can't read this form, so it makes no sense to have that image. Usually I like to just keep my forms clean. So we disable the preview now, we hit save. Now we have our form that we can use on our website, and it has our logo here. And this is if you just want to send somebody to the form. Usually I like to build it out into a page. So let's add this form onto our website. So here's our home page. We're going to hit edit page. Say I wanted to add this form to the bottom. Usually I like to start with a row layout so that I can control my spacing. In this case, I'm gonna use my inner width just to make the form shorter or more compact, not full width. And then I'm gonna search for my short form. In this case, it's just gonna be form. Select the form that I want, main form, choose it, and then save my changes. View the page. And here's my short form. So now I'm going to show you how to track the form with Google Tag Manager when somebody submits it. So to track our form, let's just submit a test. Request a quote. So this is an event-based trigger that we're going to have to build out. So we would want to inspect. This is in Chrome. I'm going to hit my select an element page. And then here I'm going to select my box. In this case, you can see that my div class for this thank you test is this. And so this is important as we are going to need this div class in order to track it in Google Tag Manager. So we are going to do, in my case, Command C to copy. We're going to go to Google Tag Manager. We are going to select triggers and then a new trigger configuration. And in this case, we are going to do element visibility. We are going to select a CSS selector. We're going to copy the code that we grabbed from here because this only fires when the form is submitted successfully. We would paste it here. So there are a couple things that you need to set up. So you need to add a period in front of the SRFM. And then anywhere there is a space, you would add a period as well. So in this case, I'm going to hit delete and then add a period. And then I move back. And then in this case, we're going to add a period here. And then add another period here. So anywhere you just see a space, just add a period. I don't see any more spaces. So we should be good. In this case, I'm just going to change my minimum percent visible to 1%. You could leave it at 50%, it doesn't really matter. And then we only want it to do once per page. And then one thing you do want to do is hit observe DOM changes because our website is not going to reload the page. This trigger does need to see when there are changes on the website, so we need to enable this. Now we're going to name our trigger, and so in this case, I'm just going to name it Sureforms Success. I'm going to save that. And then I will add a tag, new tag configuration. I'm going to select Google Analytics. I'm going to select Google Analytics event. In this place, we're going to copy our measurement ID from Google Analytics. Now to find that, you are going to go to Google Analytics. You're going to go to the bottom left-hand corner and click Admin. I'm already on the Admins tab. You would hit Data Stream. In this case, you would hit your profile. And then you would copy your measurement ID. You would paste that here. In this case, because this is just a dummy account, I need to create a tag, so that's what it's saying. But in your case, hopefully you already have your Google tag enabled, so you wouldn't get this message. You would just call this Sureforms submission. Again, you can name it whatever you want. I don't like to leave spaces. That's why I did the underscore, but Sureform submissions. And then you're going to find the trigger that we built, which is Sureform success. And then in this case, we're going to name it something that we can identify later. In this case, I always like to put GA4 event Sureforms success. That way no matter who reads this tag, can immediately identify that it was a form success. If you knew the brand, then sure, form success would make more sense to you. And then we would just preview this tag. We would want to grab our website. And then we would paste it here, connect it. And then it would open our website. When we go down to the bottom of the page, we request our quote. Thank you. And as you can see, my tag fired here. So zoom in a little bit. It'll say Shore form submission, measurement ID. And then the thing that triggered it was this Shore form success. The last step you have to do in order to enable that your form is tracked in Google Analytics is to go to Google Analytics. And in order to get to this screen, remember you would have to hit admin. It'll take you to this admin section. You would go to events. And then you would see Shore form submission. You would say mark this as a key event. Basically what this means is that anytime somebody submits a form via that event is going to tell Google Analytics that this is a form submission, and this data you're going to be able to pass over to Google Ads as well, and Facebook, and whatever other platform you use in order to track leads via Google Analytics. Now your forms will be tracked. At first, you're not gonna see this. Usually I tell people wait 24 to 48 hours in order for you to see your event come through, as Google Analytics for data is delayed anywhere from 24 to 48 hours, but usually within 24 hours, you should be able to see it. Just to recap what we learned today, we installed short forms on our WordPress website. We made our first form. We created in Google Tag Manager our first trigger and event to pass over to Google Analytics. If you do have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe, as I'll make another video on how to collect the form data that gets submitted within your form fields and pass that over into Google Tag Manager so that you can pass that over to a variety of tools of your choice.